Hi guys, how are you? I just want to talk a little bit about the chart that you filled in. What's the importance of doing this process of reflecting on the purpose why you chose certain instruments or data collection techniques? At the end, you will have a rationale of why you did it. And that's actually the most important thing that you need to describe in your research projects, actually in your MA report. At this moment, what I have observed in your research, in what you have written, is that you have described the instruments or data collection techniques that you wanted to use, but the description at this point, in most of your writing, is that it's a definition. You give a definition of what an interview is, you give a definition of what a focus group is, and in general, why these instruments are useful, but it's still, the way it is written is too general. The idea of this chart is to, by looking at the different aspects, answer different questions that you already did, is to, at the end, write in the methodology why you chose an instrument or data collection technique and not another one. Why interviews and not focus groups, or vice versa? And especially, what are the characteristics of that instrument or technique that fit into the research questions? That allow you to gather the information you needed to answer the research question. An example, I would say that for my research project, I chose focus groups because I wanted to have a group of students discuss about what they thought about certain program, an example. And I want to see how students build up what they say on another participant. That means, based on what the other one expresses or his or her opinion, this guy can come with certain ideas, and in that interaction, you can see that you can get data that shows how a group of people who belong to a certain program, in some way, you find patterns and that allow you to identify general perceptions or ideas that they have as a group of something. On the other hand, for example, focus groups allow you to get the information in a more naturalistic way. That means that probably the points with interviews is that when you have an interview with someone, it constrains a little bit the person, because they're in front of a researcher, and the way they answer and everything, they can hide information. But when they're in a group, probably the interaction would allow them to explore and to express things that probably, or whether they didn't want to show, or probably they didn't realize until the moment they got the chance to talk to someone. On the other hand, if I am working, for example, I want to know about perceptions of a person, about something. For example, the perceptions that someone has about English teaching. So in that case, in my research proposal, I see that I probably in what I have been writing, or in what I have seen in the literature review, is that people's perceptions is related to different. People's perceptions are built in interaction in a certain context with other people, and are built based on the previous experience you had through your whole life. So in that case, I will focus on identifying, like, in his or her professional life, the things that probably would make this person think that English should be taught in this way or that way. That means that I can explore his previous experiences in his life that probably will have a causal effect on what they believe now. So in that case, for me, it's more important to carry out interviews instead of focus groups. So that's the important thing is to be able to show that this was the right instrument to really gather the information that you needed, and that actually shows that what you're doing is credible. Okay, so that's now if you want to use both focus groups and interviews, of course, you have to say what is the role of focus groups here, and what do you get from there, and based on that, what do you get from interviews. But the point is not just to say it in general, because that's not the point. I mean, we can say these are focus groups in general. So it's what are the characteristics that allow you to get certain information in this context, in this study, and that once you tell us your rationale, we said, yes, actually, what he did follows certain credible and systematic stages that at the end will convince me that the information he's showing us, the analysis he's doing, is really relevant. Okay, so see you tomorrow, and if you have any questions, you can text me, send me a WhatsApp or an email. Take care.